Hey everybody, welcome to the Gospel Countdown. I'm Nina Taylor.
And I am Bishop Ernest E. Richard Jr., and you're joining us on this joyful occasion as we come down to the end of the year 2024.
Yes.
Nina and I thought we would share some songs, some which made the top 20, some which made the top 50, but songs that we just enjoy. So without further ado, come on and take a ride with us. Nina, who are you going to put up first? And remember, folks, this is in no particular order.
No,
It's
no
just songs
particular
that
order.
we've heard over the weeks, the last 52 weeks, and we're just sharing them with you. Who you got,
Yeah,
Nina?
it was an interesting year musically. I can remember a couple of years when myself, because I've been doing countdown shows since 2015. And I remember
Hmm.
some years we were like, yeah, music was okay. It wasn't the greatest year. But this, I think, was a great year. This year and last year were great years for music. We heard a lot of music that had been created during COVID. A lot of great music came out of that whole situation. Probably one of the few things that people said they actually had time to create. Well, we started off the year pretty good. We were still on the heels of Pastor Mike Jr., who had a
Yes.
tremendous 2023 with his song Amazing. And then he came in to 24 with the song Windows, which I gotta
Yes.
admit, I love Pastor Mike. I really do.
Yeah.
Oh, it had to kind of grow on me, and it was like we were hearing it so much that it's just like anything else. If you hear it so much, the next thing you know it and you're singing along. But it had to kind of grow on me. It wasn't like, oh my goodness, it's Pastor Mike. And we really got excited about the song. But yeah, it had to grow on me. It really did.
I understand. And I mean, I've had several songs for 2024 that grew on me. One, I saw it in the top 40, but I did not see it make the top 20 yet. It still may do it. And of course, he was the Sunday best winner of a couple of years ago, Melvin Crispell III. He
Mhm.
did a rendition of Yesterday. And I promise you, sis, when you hear the song, if you haven't already heard it, you'll be sitting there talking about one of those kind of things, you get caught up. Just don't be driving, okay? Because you might
No.
forget that you're on the road, you know. But I love the song, and I'm only bringing that up first, not because if we were doing a 1 to 20, it's not number 20, it ain't
Yeah.
number 10. It's just on my list of
Okay.
songs that I enjoyed for the year 2024.
Hmm. Well, I really enjoyed everything, and I still do. Anything that Jacqueline Carr comes out with. I think
Yes.
she had a tremendous 23 and 24.
Hmm.
Wow, I guess she's really coming into her songwriting and
Yes.
you know, uh You Carried Me, another one. It's like
Yes.
she has a very, very unique writing style, and
Yes,
I'm
she
really
does.
excited about her. And she was a big winner at the Stellars this year, and she's won in the past quite a bit. And I think in 25, I think it will be the same thing that she will be one of the ones that will be a big nominee. I do.
And I agree with you. And speaking of Jacqueline Carr, she also had a collaboration out there. The
Uh-huh.
song was called One Hallelujah. It featured Tasha Cobbs, Leonard. It featured Israel Houghton. It also featured Erica Campbell and Jonathan McReynolds, and of course, Jacqueline Carr.
Uh-huh.
And to have those individuals, to me, those are our modern day giants in gospel music. I
Hmm.
mean, Jacqueline being the youngest of the entire bunch. I mean, it's just an amazing thing just to see. And you know what? Just historically speaking, we've been able to collaborate in gospel music, but we really didn't start collaborating until the mid 80s, you know.
Really?
Prior to that, everybody was kind of doing their own thing. But now here we are,
Mhm.
some 30, 35, 40 years later, and the music just seems to be, and please folk, don't judge me, okay? I have great English and I have good command of the English language, but every now and then I gotta go deep South red Kool-Aid in language. It just gets gooder and gooder.
Good, good. Wow. Yeah, absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
one of the people who, I mean, he's had one hit after the other. Ty
Mhm.
Tribbett. Ty
Yes.
Tribbett. another one. It had to grow on me. Only one night though was interesting. It was different. It was definitely different, but
Hmm.
the one that had to grow on me. But whereas in the past, I loved his worship stuff. I've loved everything he's done with his choir.
Hmm.
This one had to grow on me, but he's had a tremendous last couple of years. And I think it
Yes.
was evident in the Stellar Awards this year where he won everything.
Wow. And you couldn't do anything about it.
It was amazing. I
See,
think
I tried
50
to come up.
nominations, I don't know.
See, I tried to come up with a single word that
Mhm.
would become a platinum seller.
Uh-huh.
He did it with new. And
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to, I tried to come up with something and I couldn't come up with anything, Nina. I tried everything. Okay. Hey, 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 didn't work. Stop it, stop it, stop it. I was trying everything. Nothing worked. So I said, I'll leave the music to the professionals and just do the announcing. But
Yeah.
listen, and I want to bring up a choir that has been a staple and a mainstay, God knows for how long, but you can never count them out. And if I could use a boxing term, in boxing, if you get hit and get knocked down twice in the same round, they do what's called a standing eight count.
Uh-huh.
This particular choir, they tried to do a standing eight, but every time they tried to do a standing eight, they got right back up. I'm talking about the Mississippi Mass Choir. Only one way home. Folks, if you like traditional gospel, this is the choir for you. You do not want to miss them. If you haven't heard them yet, shame on you. If you already heard them, just lift those hands and say, yeah. Okay, I'm done, Nina.
Well, we've been talking for years now, few years, about the
Uh-huh.
choir, being
Yes,
gone, the choir coming back. I think the choirs came back with a vengeance this year.
they did.
We had the Mississippi Mass Choir, Kenny Lewis and his choir, several choirs
Yes,
just
yes,
popped onto the scene. And we were like, oh my goodness, Ricky Dillard just blew everybody
yes,
away. I mean, I think he had a tremendous year. And I
yes.
think he's another one we're going to see all over the stellar ballot next year.
I
But
believe it.
choirs definitely made a big showing in 24. Lots of new choirs, lots of great choirs. We can't say they came out of nowhere. Most of them have been around for a while,
For
but
years.
yeah. So I think it was a lot of presence of choirs in the
Hmm.
all year long, which
Yes,
we're excited.
yes.
We're
I
excited.
would agree with you.
Also, we also saw a few quartets make their way
Yes.
into the mainstream top 40.
Uh-huh.
It's
Hmm.
something new. We saw quite a few quartets that just popped into the top 40, and that's excellent. Me personally, I don't like genres. I don't like us separating the music.
Me
I
neither do
it's
I.
in one big pot, so but since it is how it is, we've got pop music, popular gospel, and we had choirs and we had quartets, we had everybody,
Yep,
little bit of everything, constantly in the top 40 this year, which I think is a great
we
thing.
really have.
Mhm.
One of those groups, and I thought you were going to mention them, so I'll bring them up now. Let's talk about them.
Uh-huh.
Group Fire,
Wow. Yeah.
about last night.
You know what? Everything they have done, every song
Yes.
they have released has made
Hmm.
its way into the top 40.
We,
This song is still fairly new. If you look
hmm.
at how gospel goes, 6 months is nothing. That means absolutely nothing. That's still a brand
Nope,
new song.
pretty
So
much.
they just released a video with them doing some dancing in it, which I think is so cute. And
Uh,
these guys have got to be close to 30. I've been following them a long
if that.
since they
Yeah.
were in their teens. So some of
Yep.
them got to be close to 30, or if not in their early 30s, but they're still young and a very vibrant, very today type of group. And I think that groups like the group Fire are going to bring a lot of young people to Christ, to the church.
And I believe that. And there are some individuals, some people we could single out who have done some pretty phenomenal work and have had assistance from some of the noted names. In
Mhm.
particular, a group called Elevation Worship. And
Wow.
they had such a beautiful one. But I want to talk about one particular individual, one Chandler Moore. when he
Uh-huh.
did the song Lead Me On.
Yeah,
And Chandler he's coming to his own from the time we first heard him.
yeah.
And I was not aware of the fact that he had done a lot of backup work for a lot of different artists. I
Really?
kind of discovered this, you know. So it's not like he hasn't been on the scene. He's been on the scene.
Mhm.
We just didn't know who he was. And when he worked with Elevation Worship, Elevation, they kind of brought him to the forefront. And here he is now. And on some charts he's on the top. He's in the top 10. Some charts he's in the top 20. But the point is,
Mhm.
his music, his ministry, his strong desire to reach the masses, is just intriguing just to watch him because I've seen a couple of his videos and he puts on his sunglasses and I don't know what's going on behind them sunglasses. Might be a Stevie Wonder moment for all we know. But the truth of the matter is,
Mhm.
he really takes us in. And I like that about him. And anybody that fits that genre, Tasha Cobbs Leonard is another one who has that ability. Jacqueline Carr, that's another one who has that ability to take you in to the center of worship. And I just mentioned those individuals when we talk about singles or individual people who have worked with groups. Now, the noted names, I mean, he's worked with such people. He's worked with Fred Hammond. He's worked with Kirk Franklin. He's done some work with Israel Houghton. He's done work with quite a few people. He's even actually worked with Zacardi Cortez, believe it or not. So
Mhm.
he's been around for a minute, you know. He's becoming a household name. So, folks, wherever you are, look for Chandler Moore and look for Mr. Moore to do more. How's that sound?
Oh, yeah. Do you remember PJ Morton? I
Yes.
felt like he had two great songs. Remember
Uh-huh.
the
Mm-hmm.
all the
Mm-hmm.
men, Marty Cortez. Actually, the name of the song escapes me at this moment, and that's just the whole problem. I felt like that those two songs he did a one with just females. He had Leandra Johnson and Tasha Cobbs, uh,
Mm-hmm.
Kiki Wyatt, who is wow, just a tremendous
Yes.
singer, and Kiera Sheard was on there. Just
Mm-hmm.
a whole host of wonderful singers. And then he had, as far as the men, he had Zacardi Cortez, and
Yeah.
you remember the song and the videos.
I
Uh,
remember the song, and right now the name escapes
yeah,
me as well. I could
that's the
see.
whole problem. I felt like those songs, both of them, uh,
Mm-hmm.
should have gone all the way to number one. Both of them.
And you know what? Had they gone to number one, we'd probably be talking about. No, that wouldn't be true because we're trying to remember the names right now.
Yeah, and see,
And
that's the thing. It's like, what was up with that song? Why wasn't it? I don't know. I saw the videos quite a bit.
hmm
I saw both of the videos. You go ahead and go, and I'll try to
well, listen, I'll tell you
another
honestly, and I want to start pulling out some mainstays, some staples,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna pull up three, but I'm gonna give you one right off the rip, and then the last one I'm gonna save for last because I want to hear from you because there was something special you did this year. I wasn't jealous. I just kind of wish I had gotten a chance to see the second round. But before I give it away, let me go to it. BB Winans, Father in Heaven, right now, a mainstay and a staple. We recall
Yeah.
him and Cece from back in the day and all the platinum hits that they have had. And, he comes across with this particular song, and BB has not lost a step. He's still BB Winans, still doing what he does best. And we so appreciate him. And then we cannot forget his sister, Cece Winans, who
Hmm.
has had two or three hits on her own.
Hmm.
And she's just such an amazing. And I know we go back to even the tail end of last year, and talking about, I'm trying to think, singing the goodness of God. See, here it goes right now. All my life you have been faithful. You know
Oh
what
yeah.
song I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Goodness of God is the name
Yeah.
of the song. But
Hmm.
she had That's My King is her latest project. And I tell you honestly, that sister has a lot still to give. Still one of the most, she is the highest selling female gospel artist right now, currently in the American venue and on the international level.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna, and I know folk like the queen, like to deem this one the queen of this or the king of that. If you're gonna deem a queen, you got to have her in that running simply because of the body of work that she's done. But the last one I wanted to save, and these sisters have been phenomenal from the first time I was ever introduced to them. Currently, they're working a reunion tour. You got to see the 2.0 tour, which I'm a little
I
jealous
saw
because
both of them.
they look like they had church in that tour for what I could see on the video.
Yeah.
So I'm going to relinquish to you so you could tell me a little bit about the Clark sisters and the reunion tour, and just please mention some of the other individuals that you got to see because again, I'm going to probably have to fly somewhere just to go see this tour before it ends because obviously it seems to have come our way and I
Think they're
wasn't in the country.
both of those tours are over. I did think of the song. It was PJ Morton's "The Better Benediction," the
Okay.
male version and the female version. I felt like
Hmm.
that song should have went way straight to the top of the charts, which
Hmm.
used to. He's been at the top of the R&B charts as well as the gospel charts, but
Hmm.
like that song didn't get its just due. You know,
All
the
right.
female version was tremendous. I mean, both of them were fantastic, but yeah, I
Amen.
felt like
Amen.
should have went to number one, both of those. But I was at every concert that came through town. Again, since COVID, we had no concerts, no nothing. So look how long it's taken for everything to kind of like we're still basically recovering from the COVID pandemic. The reunion tour was the first concert we went to. That was this year, and then they had the reunion 2.0. First time I ever saw Marvin Sapp by himself. The only other time I saw him was through the commission reunion, which was what, 14, 15 years ago. And he said,
About
yeah,
that.
that was the last time he was on tour. And so
Yeah, well,
it
he's
was
had a
really,
lot happen.
yeah, it was a fantastic time seeing him like that and having him on my show, speaking to him about everything and how he felt about being on tour. And now I'm hearing that he's getting ready to go on tour again after he telling me that he's too old for this stuff, right? Now I'm hearing that he's going on tour again. So I
Uh-huh.
got to be there with the last concert that came through major concert was the I Got Out, which was Dietrich Haddon, Pastor Mike, Anthony Brown, and Bree Barbineau, which was fantastic. Now the
I
only
believe.
problem I had with it, but I felt like the order was a little bit off. They had
Off.
Dietrich
Okay.
Haddon, which like DJ is such high energy. I mean, he climbed on top of tables and chairs and he did everything he did. He's definitely not an opener, but for whatever reason, and I'm sure, it was no problem for him. Yeah, we definitely felt like it should have been last. The person who wears you out should be the one who goes last. But Pastor Mike took us to church, you know,
Uh-huh.
and Bree Barbineau, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I felt like she's with child again.
Okay. She may be.
She
Very well
didn't
may
really look
be.
like it, but that doesn't take
Okay.
from the early stages, her sitting through the whole concert, which is a beautiful thing, and she's still working. I don't know if that's a good thing, but I feel like that's what I feel like, that she was with child again. I got to take a picture with her and Anthony Brown. And Anthony Brown, he did what he did. That was my first time seeing him. It was a tremendous concert. It was wonderful. Either way it goes, I was sitting right in the second row. So up front and close and personal. It was a great concert. All the concerts, the reunion 2.0, and the I Got Out tour were fantastic.
But,
Tamala
it,
Trent was on the
yes.
reunion, Tamala and David. So seeing them was great, and being in
Yes.
a media situation with them, hearing them talk, getting to ask them questions one on one, which was good. So it was a
Beautiful.
great year for me. I felt like this was a very exciting year for me.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of exciting, and once again, we had the opportunity just a few months ago to go over to the Spin Awards, and a lot of great things happened there. And again, I want to congratulate you. For those of you that don't know, this young lady sitting right here has been, I call it the Spin Awards Hall of Fame. You know, Women of Radio is
Dope
the
women.
Spin Award.
Dope women
I
in radio. Yeah.
Dope Women in Radio. To me, they should be renamed the Spin Awards Hall of Fame.
Okay.
And you know,
Well,
and
they
she
do
wrote.
have that, but I'm not in that yet. So
Well, it won't be long, but nonetheless, I'm going to call that for the Spin Awards. And truthfully speaking, she went in with some heavyweights. You know, I mean, Sheila Bell is nothing to laugh about, you know, and
absolutely.
there were
Yeah.
just so many others. And, you know, we got to see, have a high time there. And, you know, this year I didn't mind not having a nomination, but managed to make an impact inadvertently anyway, because many of you know the month of October, I try to celebrate breast cancer awareness
Yeah.
and domestic violence. And so I decided to dress up for the occasion. And next thing you know, they talking about me all the way in Canada. I said, well, go ahead on. So that was my award.
That was the first time I ever got a call about someone else's clothes from another country. So, so that is great. And like I said, we're happy to be on that station. You're going to be hearing us more.
Yes.
Uh, we got
Yes.
to do a promo together so we can, get that out for them. But we appreciate that. But yeah, it's the first time I ever got calls from other countries, people asking about your clothes. So,
Yeah,
uh,
well, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, I have them custom made. No, let me stop. I I won't reveal my secret. But
no, no.
if you send me 59.95 and three box tops, no, that's not gonna happen. But listen, someone else I want to make mention of, and folks, these are all honorable mentions for the year.
Yeah,
We're going to try to do at least 20, 25 somewhere in the neighborhood within a given time frame. We're at the halfway mark. You're at the gospel countdown, end of the year review. I'm Bishop Ernest E. Richard Jr., along with the lovely Nina Taylor. Javon Dewan and the Trap Stars featuring Zacardi Cortez.
yeah.
Talk to me about that song.
Wow, that song. You know what?
Without you.
I don't know if any of our people who are going to be watching this know, but it sounds like Gerald Levert's parts of,
Yes.
which is,
Yes.
believe me, a huge compliment on whoever that was singing. But
Amen.
yeah, I didn't know that Gerald Levert had written for some gospel artists. You know,
Hmm.
I did not know that. But if I didn't know better, this sounded like one of his songs, and it sounded like
Mm.
on it. They had that feel, but they definitely had their own sound going on. I had Dewan on the show earlier this year, did not know who he was. Maybe a week later, I found out he was a Stellar nominee. I said, "Oh wow!"
Wow.
So didn't know it at the time, but yeah, he was on the show, and wow, he's just blowing up, and he got to perform at the Stellars. So
Beautiful.
he's
Beautiful.
doing some big things, and this is going to be a big song for him. Of
It
course,
really is.
Cardi Cortez putting that flavor on it. What do you expect? But he's one that I think is going to be doing big things, also in 2025.
I would definitely agree with you. And
Yeah.
somebody else I want to give an honorable mention to. She took a hiatus
Mhm.
from the group that she was part of, and now she's making her comeback. And what better song to put out there than "Pray for Me"? I'm talking about none other than Tina Campbell. You
Yeah.
know, love this sister to life. And the
Mhm.
main thing is when they had their television show and she was going through that turmoil with her husband, the grace that she handled the whole situation with, you know, I can just appreciate it, you know. And she said on one occasion, something, well, leave me alone. I'm about to go off. I said, you have every right to with what you have been through. But here she is. She's back. She has a song that's in the top 10, and she's pressing her way back to where God wants her to be. You know, and the one thing I like about her, she has old school flavor about her,
Mhm.
even in her dress code. Because if you've seen her, I don't know if I want to call it album cover, CD cover,
Mhm.
digital marketing cover.
Cover art.
She's her art. She is old school dressed.
It's to the bow.
Okay, even the blue shoes. Okay, and blue's my favorite color, so you just need to know. So she's stylish, she's profiling, but she's getting her message soundly across. And we appreciate you, Tina, for all that you are doing. There's still yet a couple of more, but I'm gonna give you opportunity and chance because now I'm gonna start hitting some of them more weighty matters from this point in as we move forward.
Well, I felt also like Dante Bowe.
Yes.
And I've seen a couple of interviews with him this year. I feel like first and foremost that he is a tremendous artist. As far as some of the other things that's went on with him, I didn't see them, heard about them, and I did also watch a podcast. Maverick City Music has a podcast, and
Okay.
they actually invited him on, and they kind of talked everything out. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I guess, we all thought he got thrown out of the group, which was not the case. They all said
Mm-mm.
that. The group said that. He said that. No, that wasn't what happened. And with a lot of other singers who are in groups, sometimes it's not that you get kicked out or you want to leave the group. It's just that I got some stuff going on my own. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that was the case. Will he return to the group? We don't know. But they kind of got everything out on the table, put everything out. So you heard it from all three of the horses' mouths, instead
Mm-hmm.
of speculating about what happened, what did happen, what didn't. So that was good. So you can check that out. It's on YouTube if you want to see it. Maverick City Music Podcast. They call it Mav on the Mic. And
Yep.
check it out. Check it out. I love watching it. Whenever I get notified that they have a new one on, I'm definitely going to check it out. But that's another one I want to mention, Maverick City Music, who, since they came out, they've had great years
Yes. Hit
every
after hit.
year. Naomi Rain, who is fantastic.
Yes.
She would be on
Very
the list
talented.
of, going to blow up to
Yeah.
ridiculous heights, in the
Yeah.
future.
I
So
want to call them the up and comings.
we absolutely the up and
She's already arrived, but we're gonna put her up and
oh yeah,
coming. So
oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. We
she
know
has
that
already
process.
arrived.
And while we're talking about that, who do you think is going to be hot, like just crazy hot for next year for 2025?
Wow. And that's sort of kind of a hard call because
Yeah.
right now, one of the front runners, and I love him, and you've heard me do this, I don't know how many times on our particular, especially our audio podcast, and say, everybody listening to you, Otis. But Otis
Yeah,
Kemp,
oh, it's
he
good. Yeah.
stands out,
Uh-huh.
and most folk would find nothing really extravagant about him, yet he has a uniqueness in his delivery. He has this, it's a down to earth, make you feel good kind of gospel sound. There's nothing, he doesn't have to riff, he doesn't have to scat. All he does is sing, not sing, sing. And
Uh-huh.
that's all he does. He's one of them. And of course, the mainstays, you already mentioned Pastor Mike. We've already mentioned Jacqueline Carr still on that list. And there are so many more. We already mentioned the group called the group Fire. I mean, there are a lot of great ones coming up. Doe is doing an awesome job. I
Oh yeah.
expect more out of her.
Yeah, she's already taken home a stellar award. But I think Jokia, I think
Yes.
she's already had top tens and number ones and all that, but
Hmm.
she's also got that crossover success. So I think
Okay.
next year we're going to be really talking about Jokia a lot. Melvin
Okay.
Crispell the
Yeah.
third.
Need we
Doe,
say any more?
yes, Doe, the group Fire. I'm gonna say them and Jawan Dewan. Those are the ones I
All
think
right.
we'll be talking about them quite a bit next year. That's what I
And
think.
I agree with you. It's funny that you should mention Melvin Crispell because the next song that I actually was going to mention was a song that he actually did with I'm going to say Jonathan Nelson, Jason Nelson,
Ethan, yeah.
Yahweh.
Uh-huh.
And what an awesome song. And not to mention the fact that his own single, God Is, a song that his own father, Melvin Crispell Sr., wrote.
Yeah.
He has just put that song back on the map
You should do
with
all the
his,
daddy songs. You
yeah,
should do 'em all.
he's got his style is so unique. And I don't know who his coordinators are, who his writers are. I don't know who does his arrangements, but whoever it is, hats off to you I mean, it just fits him like a well-tailored suit. What do you do with this guy? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And you're right. He's one of the ones that we're going to be talking about next year. But I want to go off music for a split second. Two people I want to bring up, and we thank God that their victory reports are out. For those of you that have been following, we got word of TD Jakes and having medical difficulty on one given Sunday while in church, and also Bishop Marvin Winans. And the reason why I put both of those two is because both of those were songwriters and composers. Bishop Jakes having done movies as well and assisted with movie scores. So it's only fitting that we send a shout out to them and say, we thank God for your recovery. Continue to do that which God has called you to do, and especially Bishop Marvin Winans. Now, folks, and in the gospel world, all you artists, do not be jealous because I've been following this brother since the early 80s. I promise you. To me, he's an icon, a respectable icon. And one of those I said to you, I think in another podcast, if he sang the ABCs, it'd go platinum before you realize it. I could hear him now. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Anyway,
Oh,
but hats off to him. God bless you. We bless God for your testimony that Jehovah Rapha did it again. And we look to hear from both of you in the days to come, whether it's musically or even in the pulpit. Moving right back to the music set, another individual that has made her way back into the top 10, and she ain't playing no games. She wasn't playing games before, but she just wanted to make sure she ain't going nowhere. How about Miss Yolanda Adams?
oh yeah, oh yeah. Just been away for a minute. The Mountain High Valley Low CD, when that came out, I was listening to
Yes.
gospel radio, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" You know, people
Yes.
they weren't singing in church like this when I was coming
One
up.
of my favorite, if I think it's on that well, I'm gonna say CD because that's what it was then.
Yeah.
Uh Open My Heart,
Oh yeah.
always. Oh man,
Written by Jimmy
that
Jam and Terry Lewis.
yes,
Unbelievable.
yes. I mean, and to me, the live version was her best version because I mean, she had opportunity and chance to minister. But we love you, Yolanda. We bless God for you. Thank you for staying true to gospel music, and I'm not saying anything about anybody else, but you know as well as I do, Nina, there are those who have strayed, STRAYED, big letters with exclamation points. But to
Mhm.
God be the glory. And then another one, I know the song is a couple of years old, but I forgot to mention this, and please forgive me for backtracking. Keep our dear sister Leandria Johnson in prayer as she works through her difficulties because, we are a praying people. The Bible says the effectual fervent prayer of the righteous availeth much. And just because you do something that the rest of the world doesn't like or gospel people call distasteful, God has not discarded her. I had somebody do this, and I'm gonna be real quick about this because I know we got to move on. I had somebody take a $50 bill and he crumbled the $50 bill up. And then he opened it back up, and as wrinkled as that bill looked, he says, "Does this bill look like it's lost its value?" Then he turned around, put it on the ground, stomped on it the whole 20 yards, then picked it up, said, "Does it look?" See, that's the thing we got to realize. Excuse me. We don't lose our value because we make a mistake.
Yeah.
And we as church folk, we have to get away from devaluing people because at the end of the day, you don't know what God is doing. Let me
Yeah.
get back to the music because we get ready to get into a whole sermon. Well, no,
I wanted to mention a couple other people to look out for in 2025.
okay.
With Joe and Jokia and Jawan.
Yes.
Charles Woolford. He had
Yes.
been away for a little bit. And believe me, he was another one. Even when
Mhm.
we first started, remember, when I started in gospel radio, that station was new. None of us,
Mhm.
nothing. We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know anybody. He was one of the artists that, hey, I'm in town. What can I do to help? He gave me phone
Mhm.
numbers. I mean, he just helped us so much. He gave us phone numbers. He put us in touch with different pastors. And I mean, he was a
Nice.
tremendous help to us. And like I said, we've been friends ever since. We've been friends like 25 years. And happy birthday to him, by the way. He just celebrated his birthday along with a lot
Happy
of
birthday.
artists. A lot of artists born in December. But I think I know for sure he's working on a quartet album. He does have this the Afro Caribbean album out, which I love so much. Listen to it almost every day. He's got like
Amen.
20 songs on it, and I said nobody's doing this kind of thing anymore. Making albums. Some people are, but
Hmm.
it's so beautiful. I just sit and listen to it every day, all day. But I think his quartet project. I've already heard the first song of it. It's going to be a tremendous album, and I am excited for him.
He
And
had a praise and worship song a number of years ago, and I really hope he resurrects that song again. When
really,
nobody else will worship. I
wow.
still love that song.
Somebody else
I've
is
sung
singing that song to him.
Well, you know what? I've sung that song a couple of times, and it's not an easy song to sing, first and
Really?
foremost.
Uh-huh.
Because it requires voice control, tone control, and then he has a couple of octaves that he throws in there. I'm thinking to myself, Charles, you couldn't
Really?
just stay on the ground like regular folk. You had to reach for the sky, didn't you?
Uh-huh.
But it's a beautiful song, and I guess I'm always going to be in love with that. That was my first encounter
Yeah.
with his music, and
Mhm.
that goes back a number of years. But it's so good to know that Charles is still moving forward. And I like to believe that he's going to be with us on that cruise. I'm just going to speak it into existence. So, Charles, if you're watching, sign up and get ready to sail the seas in 2025, June 1st through June 7th. We
Yeah.
are going to Miami, Florida. We're going to sail from Miami to Jamaica. We're
Mhm.
going from Jamaica to Cozumel or to the Cayman Islands, and then from the Cayman Islands to Cozumel, Mexico. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you about Cozumel, Mexico, I'm just putting this out there now because we're coming down to the end of what we're sharing with you today. One
Mhm.
thing I like Cozumel, Mexico, if you get in the water from the shore, be careful because those things have like a 10-foot drop. I don't want to come back to where's Nina? I don't know. She in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico somewhere.
You don't have to worry about that. Don't, especially if the water have chlorine or anything in it, forget it. I'm not doing it. It's so hard on my skin,
Oh,
whenever I'm in
wow.
pools, it's really, really bad on my skin. And that's why I just stopped messing with it. Even when I go to the spa, they have hot tub and I'm sure they have chlorine and it's to fight the germs and everything, but it's horrible on my skin.
I
So that's why
understand.
I don't mess with it. But
I do
yeah,
understand.
quickly before we wrap this thing up, uh, up and coming artists, brand new indie artists. I want to mention Micah Lee,
Yes.
Lisa Bellamy,
Uh-huh.
Ray Kelly,
All right.
and I forget the other guy's name, Quentin Cooper. Now, Quentin
Uh-huh.
Cooper, this is crazy. I tried to get him on the show, and he's currently incarcerated.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and
Okay.
I said, "Don't worry, I'm not gonna say nothing." He said, "No, you can tell everybody." He said, "No, it's not even like that." Men get locked up for several reasons. It's not always.
Listen, was the Apostle Paul locked up?
Yeah,
So let's not get deep here, people. Come
yeah.
on.
And he said,
Some of y'all
he doesn't care if anyone knows. He basically wants, hey, this is
just
what's
pray for
happening.
him.
But he is such a tremendous songwriter. He actually, I met him like 12 years ago, and he had
Okay.
a couple of songs that, just sending songs. And back then, I was like, yeah, you sent to me, I put it on the radio, and that was pretty much the end of it. But he is still, he's a fantastic writer. He's one of those that, you know, tremendous songwriter like Charles, like Ty Tribbett, like
Yes.
he's like that, like
Mhm.
Haddon can just come up with these great songs, and he's a great singer, and the boy
Amen.
can preach. Yes,
I
so
heard.
just ridiculous. So, like I said, so pray for him. He said he does not care if people know that he is incarcerated, and that's the way it is. So when it gets out, and actually the song that he sent me before he went in was called Release.
My God. Of all the names, right? That's
Exactly.
beautiful.
I said,
That
I'm
is
just scared of that, but it's a great song. And
I
look
know it is.
great things, when he comes home, looking for some great things for him. This Michael Lee, I don't know anything about him. I'm trying to get in contact with him. I did finally find out someone who's working with him. So I want to have him on my next new artist showcase. And Lisa Bellamy, who has a fan, you hear her
Yes.
testimony, you will never be the same again.
She was with us this past October, wasn't
Yeah,
she?
absolutely.
And you know what?
I met her in
I'm a,
Texas. I
I'll
met her
tell you, she's a Lisa Bellamy, we go back a number of years,
really
Yeah,
okay.
oh yeah. And see, she reminded me because as you know, I used to work for I used to work for a gospel awards program,
Yeah,
and we were 15 years in the running. And
yeah.
Lisa Bellamy was there in the very beginning. And she reminded me, I said, oh my God. And how can I not remember? I'm originally from New Haven, Connecticut.
Yeah.
And she lives in New Haven, but she actually is from Bridgeport, Connecticut. So there's the connection right there. It was just great seeing her again. I mean, I'm looking for her to do some great things. One person I want to add to your list, and we didn't mention him, Kalante Gavin.
Well, Kalante is certainly not new. I was talking about new
No.
people that you don't know, but you're gonna know. That's what
Yeah.
Kalante
Well,
is.
I mean, when I
That,
say Kalante Gavin,
yeah,
he's reinventing himself, believe it or not.
Kalante is grown up.
Yeah, he is grown up, but I mean, he's to me, he was under construction because after this ordinary love, this ain't no ordinary love.
Yeah,
I didn't hear from him for a while, so now I'm starting to hear from him again,
yeah.
and
You
so
see, he's had a lot of videos, and oh my,
mhm,
goodness, he's doing his thing. And you
yeah,
know
well,
who
he's
else
doing stuff.
I want to add to the crazy next year? Kiera Shear. Not that she has
Yeah,
a lot of great years, but
did
she's
you
another
hear her video
one.
when she was singing "You Brought the Sunshine"? If
Yes,
she don't sound like her Aunt Twinkie,
it's just ridiculous, isn't it?
oh my goodness. And when she hit that little riff right there,
You said no, she didn't.
that's exactly, you know what? I nearly threw my shoe at my computer. I'm gonna
Well, she
tell you
definitely
honestly.
got. I told you that third generation from Maddie Moss Clark.
Yes,
You-
yes,
And then she's
yes.
got a little girl, and
Mm-hmm.
they'll probably have her singing in a few more months. What was she born like a couple months ago? So
Mm-hmm.
she'll be
She'll
singing
be singing
next year.
by the time
Yeah.
she's 6 months old.
So it's just so beautiful. Uh,
Hey, Nina, the baby be talking about. No, let me stop. Let's move on.
But I mean, we could talk. It was just so many people. Brent Jones had an awesome year, and we were talking
Yes,
about his
yes.
song title being the longest in history. But it's probably not. Now, let me give
No,
you a quick question. What was the biggest and still is the biggest selling, most popular song in gospel music history?
wow. And I can't say in gospel music history because
It's period in the history of the world.
come on, fill me in because I'm
Just
drawing a
take a
blank
guess.
right now. Who?
Take a guess. It's a song you know. You know it's a
I
song.
know. I want to say it's a CC Winans song, but I could be wrong.
Well, she might have recorded it. I mean, a lot of people have.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to narrow down
Okay.
because go ahead, give it to me.
Amazing Grace.
Hello,
And
Dur.
it's amazing because when we were listening, when we were in the car today, actually, my mom and I, and she was like, "Oh, y'all got a lot of good upbeat songs, but the number one song that you and I both picked was a ballad. You notice that? And the number
Hmm.
one song and the biggest song in the history of gospel industry is a ballad.
Hmm.
It's not a hand clapping stomping. No, it's always about somebody who is just standing flat footed and singing from their heart. That's
Exactly.
the point
I
of it.
would agree with you on that. See, you stumped me only because I didn't think that far
Yeah,
backwards
I
or
would have
think
never
in that
guessed it was
genre.
that, but it
Yeah.
makes sense. I was when somebody asked me that, you know what I said?
What?
Happy day.
And you wouldn't have been too far off.
I wasn't. It's in the top five. I think it's like the
Yeah.
third largest song in the
It
gospel.
wouldn't have been, you would not have been
Yeah,
too far off, you
yeah,
know?
that's what I said. I said, you know me, I'll try to figure it out.
Well,
But I said,
now
I'm
I,
happy
I
day.
I'm going to throw something at you, and
Okay.
I have to get the stats on this. So the next time we get together, I have the stats. What do
Okay.
you think has the possibility of being deemed the most popular contemporary Black gospel song?
I would
And
say
you
most
know, you
popular
if I
contemporary.
give you the name of the artist, you'll get the song
No,
real easy.
I'll just say what I think, which is Stomp.
No, it was, and that's in the top 15,
Okay.
but
I just
all
okay.
right,
So
I'll give
Stomp.
you this.
You want
Do
this to
do
go.
do do do. Do, do,
Going
do,
up
do, do,
yonder.
do. Yeah,
Okay. Wow. Well,
exactly.
see, yeah, all that's in that vein, but uh
Yeah. And that song is over close to 47, 48, 49 years old,
yeah, I
believe it or
remember
not.
hearing that when I
Yeah.
was a kid.
I
And
remember when we
yeah.
sung it, and I know my sister sang it. Real quick story, and I know we gotta come to a close. My sister saying, my sister, her English was like D minus. Okay. And you know what I'm about to say, Nina. So if you want to stop me, you better get me before I get started. Daytona. Anybody ask you where I'm going, where I'm going, so going beyond.
Up there yonder.
No, Deonda. And I got to ask you
Oh,
this question. Nina, where is Deonda? I just want to know. Is it a good place?
it's close to Mama Nim's house.
It's close. Yeah, Big Mama said, "Be in before the light come on." Right?
Yep, there you go. Listen, we better go. Well, again, this show could be 5 hours long. We never get tired
Yes,
of talking about the great music. 2024 was a great year musically. We're looking for
yes,
great things in 2025. Stick with us. Keep listening to the Gospel Countdown on that radio station near you. Check us out. You can check us out on our YouTube channel. Just go to The Countdown on YouTube, and you'll be able to check out some of our videos and past countdown shows from this year. So, Bishop, I thank you so much again. I'm Nina Taylor.
and I'm Bishop Ernest Richard Jr. saying God's peace, love, and blessings go with you. And don't forget, coming soon, the KMI channel, you will find the Gospel Countdown and the Gospel News with this beautiful young lady right here. Me, I'm going to get in the background, find some nice little warm country to get off into, sit back and relax, and just enjoy the great gospel sounds.
Thanks, everybody.